So Gary's sweating and I'm freezing. I don't know about you, Coralie.
Yeah, I've got a heater down under my desk and this on.
The fire's going in here. I can't see anything outside. It's all misty. So, how did we go with our lesson for the week?
Mine was, I think that week had the same one. It was the decision to receive is the decision to accept.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that was clearer to me during the lesson than it is now. Mm,
Can happen like that. I do find it helpful to journal during the week. I'll just check in with my lesson and go, so what's actually happened with that? Because I remember one week I did that and I said, and I was thinking of the lesson going, yeah, yeah, it was all good. And then I read my journal. It's like, oh, no, it wasn't.
so how did you
But it
go
was
with
good
it?
to remember that there was actually some challenges to deal with for that lesson, whatever that was. Can't remember what it was. But I got to do lots of receiving because it was my birthday on Monday. So
Right. Yeah.
and as I said before, my friend organized my birthday celebration, so I had no hand in it. So I just had to accept that whatever was going to happen was going to happen. And it was absolutely lovely to have no expectations, but know that well, she had it all in hand. And yeah, everyone showed up with their mad hat and
Hmm.
it was really good fun.
Well, you,
But I did have some challenges as well. I had to learn about the accepting thing and what I was actually going to accept because I was having some trouble getting wheels changed on my car. I completely screwed it up and I wasn't going to accept anything but an absolute outcome of what I had gone in there for. So it meant waiting a bit longer, but they had to sort out their mess and something else stuffed up. I've had a couple of investment things coming to me and going, okay, so what have you done here? And one of them actually came back and said, okay, we actually have to report ourselves to put it through complaints. It's like, yeah, you do. So that was interesting,
That's
a way of accepting, holding out to not accept anything except the best outcome.
mm. I love that you saw that. And I did that too, but I didn't relate it back to the quote. Mm, thanks.
There you go. Gary, are you ready to
Yeah,
share?
because my brother invited
I
me.
I am.
Sorry.
And
I
no,
was
sorry,
working. Huh?
Coralie had something else to add there that
Oh,
you've
I'm
just
sorry,
worked out
Carly.
as part of the lesson.
That's right. Um, I just my brother invited me out for lunch, and then because he lives 8 hours away and he's down for the week, and his wife's coming on Thursday, but I didn't know what day she was coming, and so he invited me for lunch, and I said yeah, and then he said, "Oh, and Mia's coming," and I didn't want to have lunch with both of them. I only wanted to have lunch with him. So we had a bit of back and forth, and we are just going to have lunch, just me and him.
That's
But I wouldn't have done that
great.
before. That's really new for me to not just put up with and just, be resentful of the situation.
That's
Mm.
amazing. That's actually a
Yeah.
really big step. Yeah.
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 To just
And a
acknowledge
bit
yourself and go,
scary.
actually, this is what I want. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome, Carly. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Carry
Gary.
on.
Well, the one I was working on was he does not limit his giving, you limit your receiving. Give more to others, therefore to God. So I decided to run a bunch of Facebook ads and do this big event and give away a lot of stuff and cut my prices in half and just try to help people. So that's what I'm doing next Thursday. I think it's next Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday. I'll be or is it this Thursday? Oh no, it's this Thursday.
You checked?
Good thing I didn't think it was next Thursday.
So
I
in
do have
2 days,
everything. Say again?
in 2 days,
In 2 days, yeah.
right? Yeah.
We have like 200 people signed up for it, but you know, just because they sign up and give us all their contact
Mm,
details doesn't mean they're going to show up at the webinar. But I
mm,
was very specific in saying this is not recorded. You get nothing unless you show up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we'll see. We'll see if people rock up. Last time I think we had like 300 people register. We had like, I don't know, 50 people show up, something like that.
mm,
So I guess percentage wise, that's pretty good for a Facebook
yeah.
ad.
Mm.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to do them monthly, I decided. And I'm going to base it all around relationships and the TMRT process, fundamentally stating, like you can't be in love and you can't connect with people if your past is loaded with trauma. You can't. You'll be too triggered and you'll be too reactive and too projective. And so I have a whole thing that I'm offering them for very little. So I'm
Mm.
excited to do it and see what
Yeah.
happens.
Hopefully lots of people take it up.
Yeah, time will tell.
Mm. Mm.
A little bit in God's hands.
Yeah. Joe, do you want to share anything about your week? Are you in the space too?
Hmm.
Oh, the last time I was on the call, I wrote down the Holy Spirit is the only therapist.
I had that one
Enough
too, Jim.
said. I mean, enough said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Cool. Cool.
Well, I think we're ready to start our reading then.
We most certainly are.
And we were going to repeat number 4. Gary, did you want to read that one?
Sure. God is more than you own. What? God is more than you only because. Wait, God is more than you only because he created you. I have no idea what that means. God, am I reading that right? God is more than you only. There you go. God is more than you only because he created you. But not even this would he keep from you. Therefore, you can create as he did, and your dissociation will not alter this. Neither God's light nor yours is dimmed because you do not see. Because the sonship must create as one. You remember creation whenever you recognize part of creation. Each part you remember adds to your wholeness because each part is whole. Wholeness is indivisible, but you cannot learn of your wholeness until you see it everywhere. You can you can know yourself only as God knows his Son, for knowledge is shared with God. When you awake in him, you will know your magnitude by accepting his limitlessness as yours. But meanwhile, you will judge it as you judge your brothers, and will accept it as you accept his.
It means a lot more this week for me anyway than it did last week. I
Mm,
think maybe because it was at the end and we might be rushing it through a bit. And I think I read it last time. Can't remember.
Do you have any questions about this paragraph?
I think I might already have my lesson from it. You cannot learn of your wholeness until you see it everywhere.
Mm, that is actually a really good one, B.
mm.
I might have
I'm
to.
happy to share it, but we might have some more gold come up. I'm sure we will.
I'm sure we will, but I just in case.
That one that you said, I highlighted that last week, and this week I highlighted when you awaken him, you will know your magnitude by accepting his limitlessness as yours.
Mm,
I like that one too.
mm,
Yeah, both good, eh?
wow.
Huh.
Mm.
It's amazing. How many times have you done this reading, Gary? And you still come up with gold from it.
Always.
Yeah, it's such
Because
a
you change through the years and
yeah,
you don't see things the same.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, even this reads differently than last week. So,
Yeah. I was just thinking.
gosh, I don't think there are many texts you can read and go, "Wow, that's new from last week," is there?
No, it's not.
It's the same words but different meaning. Amazing. Shall we go to the next one, or are we happy?
I'm happy to go to the next one.
Right, just
Yeah.
move up the page a bit. Carly, do you want to read that one, or shall I?
I don't mind. I would have gone for the shortest one, but they look about the same.
You can do number 5. I think it might be. Yeah, I think you are right. They're about the same.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You are not yet awake, but you can learn how to awaken. Very simply, the Holy Spirit teaches you to awaken others. As you see them waken, you will learn what waking means. And because you have chosen to wake them, their gratitude and their appreciation of what you have given them will teach you its value. They will become the witnesses to your reality as you were created witness to God's. Yet when the sonship comes together and accepts its oneness, it will be known by its creations, who witness. Yet when the sonship comes together and accepts its oneness, it will be known by its creations, who witness to its reality as the Son does to the Father.
Okay. Number 6. Or what do you guys think? We need to have questions?
I thought it was interesting because basically you're not awake, but you're going to wake up other people. It's, and then they'll show you that you woke them up. Is that how you read it?
You can learn how to awaken. The Holy Spirit teaches you to awaken others. Well, it's a journey, I think, isn't it? We're more awake than we were last week.
Yes, yeah, yes, that would be like you're not at the destination because you don't get there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And as you see them waken, you will learn what waking means. Mm. And I find that, yes, I can. I mean, Gary, you probably see this more with your coaching clients, I guess, but it's a very it can be a very long journey as to the awakening of other people around you with what you're
Mm.
sharing. Um, And,
It
it still always comes back to me about how I used to like hammer it home with people, and now I just kind of let things happen, and I'm not attached to how people show up or how much they take from what I'm giving.
um it can be what's the word? It's very powerful to see people wake up. And what I realize is that a lot of times people make changes that I have absolutely no idea what they've done and how they've adapted to the process work. And sometimes they don't even know until years afterwards.
Mm.
So, all I know is that, there's when you surrender it over to something higher, things begin to shift anyways, outside of your ego and outside of your expectations and all of that. Um, I think it's important that when you're teaching this stuff, uh, you teach it from the highest level you possibly can. You'll make mistakes, there's no doubt about it. But you do it out of the most positive intention for all concerned.
Mm.
And I think that that's important. I think it's really important that people understand that everyone's got their own flaws and it helps them accept themselves easier.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
That was gold, thank you. Number six, then. Let's move it up. All seven's a big one. Six, miracles have no place in eternity because they are reparative. I don't even know what that word means. I'll keep reading, shall I? Maybe it'll
I'll
become
look at
clearer. Yet while you still need healing, your miracles are the only witnesses to your reality that you can recognize. You cannot perform a miracle for yourself because miracles are a way of giving acceptance and receiving it. In time, the giving comes first, though they are simultaneous in eternity where they cannot be separated. When you have learned they are the same, the need for time is over. Mm,
So reparative describes something tending to repair or mend something that is broken or damaged.
right.
I,
So it's
Okay.
I looked it
repair.
up too, Corley.
Right.
Wow. There's something very powerful in this paragraph. And
Mm,
what I just read was you cannot perform a miracle for yourself because miracles are a way of giving acceptance and receiving it. In time, the giving comes first, though they are simultaneous in eternity, where they cannot be separated. When you have learned they are the same, the need for time is over. I love that.
mm.
I don't know quite what it means, but I love it.
Yeah. Because we're quite attached to time, aren't we?
Mm,
Oh,
And the order things happen in and all that.
hmm. Yeah, this is one to ponder for sure.
so what they're saying is that giving and the miracle happen simultaneously, like they're one in the same, instantaneous. Maybe that means that you reach a state where your thought manifests immediately.
Mm.
Like there's no lapse between your thought and its manifestation.
I think we did a whole section on time, didn't we?
We did.
Mm. Need to find that and reread it during the week. That might be my lesson. Yes, time is an interesting concept, isn't it? I mean, I don't think animals really worry about time because they're always in the present. But we're always concerned about the future and worrying about the past and ruminating on the past. It's a tricky one, that one. I think we'll need to just move on and ponder it a bit. Or it might come up in number 7.
It also could be like, though, like if you say something that, affects someone profoundly and they have a breakthrough about something because of something you said, then that is happening then, but they might not even connect that. And it might even happen like 6 weeks later, they reflect back on it and go, oh, that means all of these things to me, and not even remember who said it or anything.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So that would be sort of like in the same moment, but not.
So, looking from above, if you were the Holy Spirit, you'd be able to see that that has actually occurred in that moment. But in our human experience, we need time to dwell on it. And yeah, and it doesn't necessarily come back to who said it, but or where it came from, but suddenly there's a revelation. I get that. Yeah.
Because you're sort of shifting consciousness all the time.
Mm.
Yeah.
Shall we see if number 7 helps? Oh, it's the last one for the section, so it's going to be awesome. Gary, do you want to read that one?
Sure. Eternity is one time, its only dimension being always. This cannot mean anything to you until you remember God's open arms and finally know His own mind. Like Him, you are always in His mind. And with a mind like His, in your open mind are your creations, in perfect communication, born of perfect understanding. Could you but accept one of them, you would not want anything the world has to offer. Everything else would be totally meaningless. God's meaning is incomplete without you, and you are incomplete without your creations. Accept your brother in this world and accept nothing else. For in him you will find your creations because he created them with you. You will never know that you are co-creator with God until you learn that your brother is co-creator with you. Okay, I've got questions. Anybody else feel a little confused by this paragraph or this lesson?
I'm a bit confused. I do sort of think it's interesting and like I would accept that I co-create with my brother and that I co-create with God, but I wouldn't have really put them together.
Mm, Well, it says, accept your brother in this world and accept nothing else. For in him you will find your creations because he created them with you. So I can wrap my head around that. You will never know that you are co-created with God until you learn that your brother is co-creator with you. Okay, it's getting a little clearer for me.
So for me, reading that, it's like whatever reality you're creating with the people around you, whatever you're believing in them is is what you are co-creating. So if you're hating on your brother, then that's what you're creating.
When I think about how the world is right now and look at it and think, well, then I'm a co-creator with my brother, how this world actually is right now. And that's a bit of an interesting thought.
Hmm. So, but I guess if you're getting angry from seeing what's going on in the world when you watch the news, then that's what you're creating. But if you're feeling, I guess if you're just trying to send love to them and do what you can in your own space, because we have no control over the
That's the
entire
only
government.
action to take right now, to tell you the truth. Yeah, there's no into, the ego's perception is always one of separation. So if I'm looking at something and I'm angry about what I'm seeing, there's atrocities going on all over the world right now, some of the worst that there's probably ever been. And I can be very angry about it. I was angry about it when I was 17, so I've been angry about that forever because of the atrocities in the world. And no matter what I have done, march on Washington, do all the other things that I've done, it has caused no difference in the extension of the ego out in the world and the atrocities that have occurred. So my experience is that it is part of the plan or part of the curriculum of what souls come here to learn. Unfortunately or unfortunately, there's really hard lessons here. And if the body's not real, which it's not, and the soul is eternal, which it is, then the illusion of the body's suffering is not real either. Doesn't mean you don't attempt to help. Of course you do. But I don't think there's a whole heck of a lot that we can do about it. We can reach out, we can do a prayer, we can help where we can. If it's in our immediate circles, definitely help. Um, I'm not sure what else can be done. I know that in India, the master would always say to us, the world will always be exactly as the world has always been. Do not try to save the world. Just meditate and rise above it. And I thought, wise counsel, because um, you can lose yourself forever. All your breaths will be gone trying to lift up the world. And they'll be used up instead of going to the inner worlds and rising above it so that you realize the illusion that it is. That makes a lot more sense to me.
Yes. And I
But when
think
I first
I think that
go,
ties in with what Carly was saying before, with if you say something and someone actually registers that like 6 weeks later, that this is, I think, with the rising above and the feeling in the meditating and the being in the spirit rather than in the body, wouldn't that also be rising other people up, even though they may not be aware of it and it may not be happening in 6 weeks?
Yeah, I think so. And especially the more of us do it. Because that
Yeah.
is also going on. While all the terrible stuff's going on, lots of really awesome stuff is going on.
yeah, there are really awesome things going
Mm.
on.
Yeah. And we don't really have control over any of them, but we get to choose what we accept.
We do. Mm.
That was a big one. Are we ready for the next section then?
Yeah.
Sure.
The two evaluations. Um,
Will I read that?
sure.
God's will is your salvation. Would he not have given you the means to find it? If he wills you to have it, he must have made it possible and easy to obtain it. Your brothers are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of your brothers?
Mm.
I find those questions worded a bit weirdly. So it is your will, is what it's saying, isn't it? So is it possible that this is also your will, is not also your will? I don't really understand the question.
Is it rhetorical? Is it possible this is not also your will? So it's asking the question, but it's really saying this is your will. And I think this has been one of my big learnings over the years as well, is to realize that. And is it possible that this not also is the will of your brothers? So if you look past the personality and the conflict that's going on, you know, we're all here to achieve the same end if we really dig deep past the personality.
Mm.
We're all here to find that joy, but our ego, you know, puts little obstacles in the way. And then we go down rabbit holes and delay of joy is needless. Do we still pondering that one?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah. All right. Hi, Carly.
Morning.
How are you, Callie?
Pretty good. I'm half asleep, but I'm there.
You haven't been flooded out there, have you?
No, no, it's no rain.
Mm. Do you want to read number 2 or shall I, Carly? You-
You can. I'm on my phone, so it's too
Oh, okay.
small.
Yeah, too small. Yeah. Consider then that in this joint will you are all united, and in this only. There may be disagreement on anything else, but not on this. This then is where peace abides, and you abide in peace when you so decide. Yet you cannot abide in peace unless you accept the atonement, because the atonement is the way to peace. The reason is very simple and so obvious that it is often overlooked. The ego is afraid of the obvious, since obviousness is the essential characteristic of reality. Yet you cannot overlook it unless you are not looking.
Hmm. That was pretty short and sweet, wasn't it?
I love that one because it's so, like Gary said, short and sweet. And basically, in the present moment, we all are in the atonement.
Mm. Mhm. Do we need to break that one up, or should we go to number 3?
Maybe to carry on.
What do you think, Gary? You look like you're pondering
Well,
something.
I really love that first line where it just says, "Consider then that in this joint will you are all united in this only. There may be disagreements on anything else, but not on this. This is where peace abides." It's so interesting. I was having a conversation with a client today and had a lot of discord with a business partner, and I've been working with him a bit on the Course in Miracles as well, and he loves it. And he got to the point to where he was like, "I feel such peace when I'm practicing the perception of non-judgment and such discord when I'm not." And he said, "Right now, I have been in such discord about this business partner that I can barely sleep, running the stories and the narratives." And when I left him today, he says, I'm going back to not judging because it's the only way out." And I'm like,
Mm.
it is. It's the only way to peace.
Mm.
Um, and remember, V, that quote I always make, you walk hand in hand into heaven with your brother and sister. And I never fully got that till actually this read through the Course in Miracles, which it is all condemnation, self-condemnation. And I am separating myself from God by separating myself from my brother. Every time I judge another, I am separating myself from the oneness of God. That's that's just purely clear to me. And I still remain a little bit stunned that I have to accept people that I truly would never want to be around. And my skin crawls in their presence. And it's still all the judgment stuff that you have to weave, you have to swim through it to the other side of it. And it's an opportunity for a strong commitment and love for God to do it.
Mm. Yeah, the non-judgment would be the hardest thing.
It is the hardest thing because it means you have to stop judging yourself.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I love that, Gary, because it's like questioning yourself, why am I judging this person?
Mm.
Because in the question, you're asking yourself to unpack your own shadow or fear or your own mindset around something. Because, like
Yeah.
you said, not being in judgment, not having judgment of another, of their choices, as long as it's not hurting you. You know, no judgment puts you in freedom of the true authority of atonement.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. I'm going to move up to
I'll
number
read number
3.
3 if you. I'll read number 3 if you want me to, V.
Sure. Yep.
Unless Carly wants to, or Callie hasn't read yet.
Yeah, she's on the phone. It's too small.
Ah,
Screen's too
okay.
small.
Carly, you want to read this number 3? Or you want me to?
You're most welcome to. Thanks.
It is perfectly obvious that if the Holy Spirit looks with love on all he perceives, he looks with love on you. His evaluation of you is based on his knowledge of what you are, and so he evaluates you truly. And this evaluation must be in your mind because he is. The ego is also in your mind because you have accepted it there. Its evaluation of you, however, is the exact opposite of the Holy Spirit's because the ego does not love you. It is unaware of what you are and wholly mistrustful of everything it perceives because its perceptions are so shifting. The ego is therefore capable of suspiciousness at best and viciousness at worst. That is its range. It cannot exceed it because of its uncertainty, and it can never go beyond it because it can never be certain.
Yes.
That is the truth. The ego is truly like, I got this image of it the other day. It's like a feral cat on methamphetamine, locked in a room with people around it that all it wants to do is climb the walls and get out of the eyesight or the company of anything else. And it just goes from corner to corner to corner and climbs the walls nonstop because it's so fearful. It's not our friends.
No.
But
It's mean.
do we still need to love our ego? Because we love everything. And just
Well,
go,
it
thank you,
is
but
true.
no, I'm not accepting this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not accepting the fear.
Mm.
I think that that's because the ego lives on it, and that is what keeps us, in this idea that we're separated, we're alone, and that there's judgment and condemnation here. That's why you would have fear. You would
Mm.
have to believe that you're separate from God, and you would have to believe that God is not, like you're not part of him, and therefore are creation. Therefore, you're on the outside in the prodigal son or daughter.
I think there are some really useful words in this one when with our own thought processes or feelings, and if we're thinking, are we feeling mistrustful, suspicious, vicious, or even uncertain, then we know that it's coming from ego. Then we know.
Mm.
And we can just say thank you, but no.
Yeah.
The ego does not love you.
Well, it's just fear-based, isn't it? Like you're saying.
Mm.
And so it's like you said, imagine loving your ego because you're loving all parts of you. But to me, it's just my inner child afraid of the circumstance that I'm experiencing in the moment. And so, how can I quieten my mind, give my innocence the opportunity to know she's safe, and then not go into deeper judgment, move forward with certitude, really.
I think, and I think trust is the way, isn't it? Because trust is certain that everything will turn out exactly as it should.
Also trusting your higher self, because your gut instinct would tell you to not keep walking that direction, but our fear mind would be too busy being afraid to notice the gut instinct telling you that. So it's like bringing your awareness into your intuition and following your gut instinct.
I think there's something very powerful about the word trust. Um, and one of the things that I reflect on often, and I was working with a client recently who just always was quite fearful that they weren't going to survive the next round of bad luck. And no matter what happened to them, like there were some really pretty interesting things that happened sequentially, one right after another. And they kept flexibility and they kept thinking how I can adjust my sails to how the wind is blowing, whichever way it blows. And they did that rather than focus on fear. And literally, where it looked like it was like the financial worst thing could happen to them, it happened. But then money showed up in very strange and circuitous ways. They had a gift that was gifted to them. They got another contract. They got something else. Whereas the week before, they were decimated in their minds. And then they picked themselves up and said, no, I'm always taken care of. And they trusted fate. They trusted God. They trusted life. And then as soon as that happened and pivoted in thought and in intention, the world externally began to show up differently. I was just sitting back watching it going, wow, like this is exactly how it happens. When you're in fear, nothing shows up. When you surrender, get into trust, and look for alternative sources, that starts to show up then. It's almost like and we've come across it where the distance between manifestation and thought is becoming smaller. And I think the more that I know this is going to sound very like 1960s, but I think it's true. The less we condemn others, the more love we have in our hearts. The more love we have in the hearts, the more good comes to us, the easier we manifest. So it is really behooving of each one of us. This is a commitment I'm making for this week, is to just don't judge another. Because when I do, I am choosing to disconnect and separate myself from God. I'm choosing that. And we all show up every Tuesday and it's like, oh God, how do we get to God? How do we be one with God? But it's very simple. Just stop judging other people. Anyways, that's a task for myself this week.
Mm. So it's like seeing God in your brother, really, isn't it?
It is about seeing God in all things.
Yeah,
I'm convinced of it.
yeah. And it was interesting how you were talking about that your example where and manifestation occurs with intention and how that kind of comes full circle back to what we were talking about initially. We started with time and the fallacy of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting.
I just want to add to that, Gary, because I love what you said. And then for me, it's staying open to receive. Because when I judge, I cut off the receptive vessel that is receiving 100% of the time what you're sharing about, that divine, frequency that is creative. And so when I go into my mind, I cut off. But can I stay open to receive in my body and not just go into my mind and chop the rest of my body off? So can I stay open, trust the receptivity of the Holy Spirit has my back, and then not judge it, instead hear what Source wants me to take action with, or do no action and stay silent and just be with presence? Can I stay open to that?
Yeah.
Well, we better end on that one. Who's got their lesson? You've got yours then, Gary?
I do. It's I didn't find it in the writing tonight, but I wrote it. To judge another is a choice to continue the separation from God. Choose wisely. It's my lesson for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized something, V. I have to take down all of my tags around my
Oh
computer.
no.
Because, well, what I realized that just about an hour ago before I got on the call, that when I have too many up, I don't read my lesson as frequently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I find that, yeah.
I
Yeah.
am taking them all
Too many
down.
things around. Mm.
Yeah, because it's too much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'll show them to you guys. Good Lord, have mercy. So this is all of them.
You
All
can
around
stick
my
them in a book or
computer.
something, in a scrapbook, so you can look back on them.
Well, I think it's just about living in the moment,
Yeah.
and just noticing that this is the lesson for right now.
Um, Coralie, have you got your lesson?
I have.
Yeah.
God wills you perfect happiness now.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I can cope with that. It's short and clear.
Yeah. Beautiful. It is very clear. Carly?
I am open to the atonement.
Mm.
Mm,
Mine is you
Great.
will never know what you are co-created with God until you learn that your brother is co-created with you.
Hmm.
It's a bit of a challenge, I think, that one. So
Can
and
be
I'm
some of you brothers.
I'm up for it.
Okay, gang,
Right.
let's go for it this week
Yeah.
and see what we can do. See how much
Yeah.
peace we can achieve.
Mm.
Okay, gang, great to see you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.